Yeah, there'll be some element that you do where you want the audio to go the left or the right.
Look, it's your fault for being deaf in one ear. That's the
I
reason.
know, but I love the fact that we can bring this up, and only people that listen to our podcast regularly will get that joke.
You poor people. What do you mean regularly? What do you mean? No, the people fall in and out of this podcast, a bit like we do.
They do. I mean, I would like us next year to do a series that we commit to. So let's say, we could say it now. Let's do a series of 12 podcasts, right? We are going to give you a season 2025 of 12 podcasts.
We are.
With a few specials, probably.
Or we will.
But that way, we hopefully will keep the audience and keep you coming back, because there'll be a season after.
We are sorry. Can we say this again? Are we sorry, John?
We are sorry.
We are sorry, but it's only purely because something else has gotten in the way. We're rubbish. Welcome to the Graphters Podcast. Very quickly. Hello, John.
Hello, Gary.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Where have you been?
Well, been on holiday.
Oh, right. What, for 6 months? How did you wangle that?
Well, I went on holiday. Left Escape Technology.
Ah, yes.
Turned 50.
Ooh.
And joined British Taekwondo. It's just, yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind.
It has, hasn't it? It has. There's lots of things that have been getting in the way of us actually getting things done. And so, on that note, very quickly, for anyone who's listening to this, John and I would like to apologise that our roundup, this is actually Christmas roundup of 2024, it has been very much. There's been a big gap before it arrived, I think is the best way to put it. We've both been. I think last year. 2023 was it started off it went into being quite a tough one, and 2024 has obviously been a bit more all over the place, sporadic and everywhere. And John and I have got news and stuff that we want to tell you that we've been trying to tell you for a while, but obviously had a few problems trying to get round to doing it. Also because I've been doing, whereas John's been going on holiday and turning 50. I mean, 50. That was 4 years ago for me. There's been lots of stuff that we've been trying to do and trying to get ready for something else whilst also working. So time has very much been a hard thing for us to find to record these.
Yeah.
But we're going to make sure we do more of an effort. In fact, we are recording our first one for next year. We are recording next week. And it's going to be fabulous. There's going to be a lot of bleeping I'm going to have to do. But not because this person will be swearing. It's because this person will be giving away information that they should not be giving away. That's all I'm going to say.
It'll be enlightening.
Yes, it will be very enlightening. And I think a lot of people will actually really enjoy it. In fact, I think anybody who's listening, I think they will love it. I really think they will love it because it's going to be brilliant.
Retro!
But one of the things that's basically been slowing down my and John's exporting of this
ability to record, to meet, even to meet. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I popped over for John's 50th birthday. I was already on a deadline before I even left the house. So I got there. I literally bought him a Diet Coke. And if anybody's at the party, I bought John a Diet Coke. I didn't buy John a Jack and Coke, which he told everybody it was because he said, I need a soft drink. I don't want any more alcohol for a bit. There you go. Yeah. There you go. I've let the cat out the bag.
There was a lot of alcohol consumed that night.
Oh, I bet there was.
In fact, the week before that night as well. Yeah, it was a birthday to remember. Put it that way. Very, very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, well, as you say, you did go away. You went away abroad, didn't you?
Yeah. We went to Malaga. Some friends, family. It was great. Just if anybody ever wants to play the most hilarious drinking game ever, the drinking game Thai Says is definitely up there. I'm going to try and get the rules for it written down, although I think there are no rules really. It's just drink. And of course, being in Malaga meant that the proportions and sizes and the cost of those drinks was manageable.
So large drink,
small price.
Nice.
Very nice. Yes.
That's what you want. I can understand why you had a bit of fun.
Yes, it was very good, and also we did some of the things we've never really done. We went to Malaga Beach, we went to the castle, all the things that we probably have never really had time to do because it was one of those times where you reflect back on things you've not done, and we enjoyed it. So yeah, it was good. But yeah, what a busy. You're right, Gary. It's been the strangest year I think I have ever known. We knew last year in 2023 that when I was working at Escape, we saw the early onset of constriction of the creative industry. We had the writers' strike that had been going on for nearly 9 months, which caused an extraordinary amount of pain.
And the actors' strike as well.
For lots of people. The actors' strike. We also had constriction in the games sector with funding changes, and it was like a never-ending cycle of spiral to the bottom.
I think it has felt that way, definitely.
And then on top of that, in the education sector, we've had, due to the cost of living inside Great Britain, we've had massive pressures on universities in particular with their foreign exchange, their foreign students that they bring in, predominantly from Asia, that have just almost halved the number, of which a lot of these students were helping to keep these universities buoyant. So that's had a massive impact as well.
Yeah, colossal.
And then the weird thing is, on the back of that, AI has sort of blown up, and there's this, I don't know, an added element of fear and disillusionment, I think, of what creativity will look like. I mean, personally, I think from a geeky, techie point of view, I love the enhancements to some of the software packages that are out there now. Things like motion tracking, color correction, anything that's an automated process. Machine learning has got so finitely fast now that it's almost instantaneous. We've also seen huge leaps forward in technology for render and real-time render. Omniverse has sort of given way now to Unreal Engine's dominance in the marketplace for real-time graphics. The latest edition 5.5 is just on another level again.
Okay, it's a bit impressive. Just the little bits that I've seen look really, really impressive.
And then, of course, Blender, big release, big milestone. They've got some huge things going on with Grease Pencil now, and
I know
it's been rewritten that just makes it so much easier to animate 2D in Blender.
Yeah.
So it opens up the whole new chapter for software. Open source software, and anybody wants to be part of the 2% club, head on over to blender.org and donate some money, because they can't do anything without generosity of others.
That's interesting, though. I mean, particularly about the Blender thing. I mean, obviously, everyone who knows me knows that I love Blender, and I found an email.
Do you like Blender? Do you like Blender?
And I was actually going through some emails, and I got to just try and, when you go through your email account, and because you've got like 50,000 trillion billion emails, so what can I get rid of weight-wise? So you're like, what I've got something attached to. And I've been sent a file. This is back in 2011, I think it was. And a friend of mine, he sent me a message with a file on the side saying, I need to do this to this. How would you do it? And don't tell me you can only do it in Blender. And I'm like, oh my God, is it really that far back? Was I being that much of a pain in the backside about Blender back then? Apparently the answer to that was
yes.
But interestingly, I keep on hearing bits and bobs about companies and pieces, software development and so on. And in fact, the person we're talking to on next week for the first podcast, hopefully in 2025. He was also, we had a very, very brief chat about this, but we were both talking about it, and somebody else mentioned something to me, which is basically the amount of time being spent of people, because not just the industry itself is being downsized, the software itself is also being downsized. Apparently, for one particular company, they have 5 people who are working in development to improve those 2 pieces of software. Whereas you look at Blender, and I don't know whether it's because it's completely open source and anyone can get involved. There are hundreds and hundreds of people who are constantly doing things and creating things and bringing Blender forward, and also, there's software which, other software which people don't want to think about. It's like Modo this year. That's it. Modo is done.
I know, but then I think I felt the same way about XSI when that disappeared and Soft Image, and it was like it's gone now, so it's all right. We'll move on, and you move on to the next sort of thing. So it's sad, but it's if you're not using it, then you lose it. So
exactly. But it also makes me wonder if there's a chance here for some of the smaller players to actually move forwards a bit more in the industry, because Cinema 4D actually has got a lot of people still developing on it. There's money going into that, and there's money going to other pieces of software, and you can see that there are people taking more stuff and putting it in. I think I'm not saying that that some software isn't being actively developed. They are, but just not in as big a way as they were. And and people, if you've got a piece of software which is heavily involved in your pipeline, you're going to do whatever you can to keep it going. But at the same time, it's like, yes, but why are you giving these people all that money every month?
What have you been up to?
Me? Well, I've kind of been. Here's the thing. This year's been very, very, very weird for me. I did have a few months last year where I had no work. In fact, I had more than a few months last year when I had no work. And it's been slowly picking up. And whether it's a little bit of me knocking people's doors, metaphorically speaking, or whether it's been vaguely organic, there has been a much more of an increase. In fact, right now, I've got loads of work on, which is absolutely delightful. But
can't do podcasts when you've got all that work on.
Well, this is true, but another thing is, that when you think, I'll have time to record a podcast, you just don't, because you're always constantly trying to looking for work. So I consider myself a freelancer, pretty much. Apart from one or two things which I wish we'll talk about. But I'm also actively trying to get work out there, and I actually applied for a full-time job, which I didn't think I would do, and then when I did it, I was kind of like, I can't believe I've just done this, and I got all the way. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't get it, but that's fine. I didn't particularly agree with the reason why I didn't get it, but. But that's okay.
One tends not to when you don't get it.
Well, it wasn't a work-based reason, so it was like, it's not that you're not good enough. We think you're great.
It was strange because obviously when I left Escape, I left because there were lots of reasons why. I went into the Escape role probably with a higher expectation of what I might get up to and what I might do. And if anybody knows me, and there's a few people that do now, they know that I have a high opinion of my own ability. But I think
unreasonably, I must say,
I didn't realize probably the beast that I was taking on, which was the institution that is education, and the historical processes that are in place that make bringing these bastions of learning into the next century are almost impossible, because if it's not the IT department or someone in charge of it that's stubborn, it'll be someone in finance. And if it's not someone in finance, it's someone in procurement. And to get an answer out of any of these people takes months.
Yeah.
And in an industry that refreshes itself every six months of new generation technology, that in itself produces a dimension of complexity to any deals that you try and put together. And I believe wholeheartedly that the only way of saving the creative industries in education will be when they move to cloud-based software, whether it's software as a service, SaaS or SAP, or whether it's through compute power in the cloud, which, NVIDIA now have workstations you can log into and rent. You can rent your workstation for £19 a month, or £19 a week for a high-end.
I was going to say £19 a month. Sign me up now.
Well, you can. They do have some. They do have some very low-end machines, like similar to the ones I'm using to game on right now. So yeah, there's so many options now, and I think this thought process of, well, I remember the old saying, no one ever got fired for buying IBM. It was so much so that the IBM was bought, so, and that's how obviously the whole Chinese saga of technology, because they bought into it all. But
yeah,
I think what I'm saying is, that I came to a point where conversations were being had. They were uncomfortable conversations, and there was an opportunity for me to exit, and I took it.
Yeah.
And it gave me some breathing space to take some of the summer to just reevaluate what I wanted to do with my life. And anybody that's been around me for the last 18 months knows that I've just been banging a drum about work experience and about the opportunities for young people.
I hadn't noticed, John.
No. You were one of the few that probably didn't.
That's probably because I've been in the same shell with you.
And you've got numb.
Roaming
You're
around the
numb
rock
to the.
pool. Yeah. The two
And
of us
so,
locked in a sort of perpetual spiral of working this out.
yeah, and I suppose where I'm getting to on this is I had several, as soon as I became available, it was like several institutions reached out, and it was very flattering to be considered for some of the roles that were being pushed in my direction. But
all education.
Yeah, well, pretty much nearly all of them were. And then I had a conversation with the CEO of British Taekwondo. As people will know, I've done Taekwondo for 40 years. And
he's a bit hard, is our John.
I'm not hard. I'm just Andy. I'm not hard, but Andy. But there's a whole host of stuff that's happening with British Taekwondo as a company and the evolution of where it's going. And there's a membership database they've been trying to reevaluate the membership database for quite a long time, and COVID created quite a problem for that because it just meant we had to survive, and opportunities arose within the senior leadership team that's enabled me to join, and responsible for creating the new membership with a company, and it'll launch in April. So it's going to be a bit of a journey, and on the top of all that, we're also creating some digital products. So digital resources for the membership, things like process helpers. I don't want to give too much away at the moment.
I was going to say, this is getting further and further away from education, games, and the VFX industry.
Well, it is and it isn't, because some of those digital products require heavily the production of stuff. And so I've reached out to colleges and to some universities, and they've all snapped up the opportunity to do work experience. So we've got some fantastic students working at Heart of Yorkshire College Group in Selby, under the tutelage of Thomas, and they're creating some software, web app based stuff for us, which is brilliant, super exciting. And we're also reaching out to Sheffield College and a few other colleges, I think Hertfordshire College Group as well, who are going to be filming some martial arts resources for us as well. So where I've been able to, I am trying to get the heavy lifting done by students, where we can do lots of retakes, and we can help them understand the process, and we can get some guidance from them. So it's been really good, and I'm filtering that back into the system, which is, so I am back. I am working with the creative people and in education, and I'm also keeping my hand in with Game Republic, helping out there. So it's all been a very interesting journey. But I was just going to say, and that was a very long-winded way of saying, I had to apply for that job. So yeah, that was a very strange one. It wasn't the highest paid job. It was a job that I just knew I wanted to do. But when I did the interview, I must admit I was myself.
I think as well. I heard someone say it today, but I've heard it before, which is you've got to work to live, not live to work.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know, obviously personally, but I think that you've gotten to a place now, pretty much where you are doing that.
I think so.
Because you enjoy it. I mean, be fair, you're enjoying it, and you are making a big difference to British Taekwondo, and that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, I've had
I can see genuinely less stress lines on your forehead.
Yeah, I've definitely had some feedback recently that's been quite warming from people who are not always forward in giving compliments. So that was nice. But then the other thing, Gary, that it also gave me an opportunity to really set a rocket off under our passion project. That if you thought the podcast was a passion project,
think again.
Hold on to your shirt tails, because
some people, obviously there are people out there who understand and know about this and have been pushing us to become a bit more forward with it. And more than anything, getting us to a stage where things can actually be moving forward. But fundamentally, John and I started a business this year. And the business is called Opendoor Studios. Now, obviously, at the moment, it's kind of in the processes of becoming a proper thing. But fundamentally, what we have done is we have created a parcel of a project where we can pass it over to colleges, FE colleges, and the students at colleges, and they can work on the project, treated and acting like adults in an actual working pipeline. And that's really important. And John and I have said this before on countless occasions. You can teach someone as much as you like, but you can't teach them how to work in the industry. And it's always going to be very difficult for people in creative education to get placements, particularly in things like the games industry and the VFX industry, because in most cases, these are locked down industries. So, for example, in a lot of cases, a games firm will come up with an idea and say, here, design us characters for this. And that as a unit will be passed over to students, and they'll just come up with characters, and then they'll come back and they'll be assessed by the people. But there isn't a lot of to and froing in terms of like, we're going to come in and speak to you on a regular basis. If you need to send us information, so we can talk to you like you are real people in a real environment. And so that is the point of Opendoor Studios, is that along with the fact that now pretty much 80% of the games industry and the VFX industry combined is remote, we can actually give them a full, realistic working experience on a project. So I have created a project, basically. We've spitballed and thrown things around, and I have created an animation, and other people have helped us with creating some of the characters, but mostly what we have is something which is totally locked in terms of the pacing and everything, and then stuff that needs to be built and stuff that needs to be animated. And so we have one completely finished character who is in there, who is the main character, so that can be animated. And so this is actually going out for a pilot scheme. So it's actually physically going to the colleges next year in January. Some of the kids are already biting. Apparently, they're biting at the bit, trying to get to do the stuff early, which makes us feel really, really good about what we've done. And I'm absolutely overjoyed with already, and nothing's been done yet, really. And I just can't wait to see what these kids are going to do.
And I think there was a lot you doubt. I didn't realise you were going to delve that deep into that, but that's fine.
Yeah,
I
think we need to. We need people to know what we're doing.
We do, but I'd just like to come back up a little bit, come up a level. Yeah, so just wind back a little bit.
Okay.
And then we'll get to this point. I think just to contextualise my mad ramblings, I've felt for quite a while like the guy Brewster. Was it Bruce? Yeah, Brewster, who was on Superman 2.
Brewster's Millions.
Well, yes, but it wasn't. Yeah, but he was called Bruce. I'm pretty sure he was called Brewster. I think he was called Brewster.
Brewster. Which one is this?
Superman 2, where he designs the computer. Or is it Superman 3?
3.
3. It's 3. Because 2 was with the...
100% 3.
Yeah,
2 is actually just an extension of 1.
Yeah, so Superman 3, and he designs his computer on all these little bits of paper, and that's kind of been how this thing's grown. It's grown from a bit of paper of... It was me, and I'm going to give him a shout out now. It was me and Jordan from Radical Forge in Scotland having breakfast, and we were talking about the games industry work experience pipeline. And I think I probably then chatted to you about it on our next podcast. It was like that was the sort of the rawness of what was going on. But really, what it came down to was the conversation with Jordan was all about the skills gap with educators. And how do we give the educators access to the skills, to the skills that they need? And then from that, I went, let's go down deeper. With Gary, we were talking about it, and it became a bit of a. I think at first you kept saying the words, but how do you start with people that don't know anything? And I think that was the thing that we always got. That was
whoops.
that was the thing that we were talking about, and that was the actual thing that sparked the whole thought process behind how it doesn't matter. And the reason work experience doesn't work inside the creative sector, this is what we needed to understand, and Gary was nailing it on the head. What is the value for these people to come in and help with that studio? Yeah, so there's got to be a value that you add. However, if you can give them an environment where we throw enough people and enough attempts at a product, that the product isn't actually the end result from an individual, it's a collective result.
Yes.
then we could move forward. And to do this, we had to take the financial burden out of the actual product itself and put the financial focus back into the actual activity of offering the service of work experience. And that's where we got to in the original documents of how do you make this thing live.
Yeah.
Which is where we came to. And I think once you got that, and I remember, I think we were just about to go to format, and we'd sat down for a drink just before Matt Wilson arrived. And we'd sat down for a drink just before he walked through the door. And you went, "Oh my God, I get it." I remember you saying it. "Oh my God, I get it." And I was like, "Thank fuck for that."
Stop it. Yeah, you're right. I think basically what it was, all the time I had in my mind that, but we need to finish a project. Because basically that's the problem, is that it's like we need to finish a project because we're working on a project. We want to give them a proper working pipeline. We need to have something out at the end. And then I just suddenly realised, actually, no, that's not the point. The point isn't the final product. The point is literally the journey of working in the business. And then that made me realise that it means that we can actually produce this short film. It's like, what is it? What did I reckon? About 4 minutes long, I think it is.
It's less than that. It's 3 minutes. 38 or something like that.
Yeah. So what we can produce in this like chunk of time, which can then go out and be shown to say, look, this is what these students have done. Doesn't have to be immediately in 1 year. It could be over a couple of years to get the one right. And then
I just remember us trying to get to the name of the studio. That was a journey in itself.
Well, it was, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because
it didn't. But then it did, because the actual name of the studio is actually what we're trying to do. We're trying to open some doors. But you need to remember that doors are a two-way process. And we open the door for students so that they can walk through and do some work experience. But we're also opening the door for other studios, to get involved with us on this. Because there's a need for small studios, for medium-sized studios, for large studios that don't have some, they have the L&D that they do within their internal stuff. But they also want to get involved with work experience, but for the very reason we've just said, it's very difficult because you can't invite people in. Well, we have the vanilla filter for them so that their people can come along and they can work with us alongside us, and they can take as much credit as they want. They can put it up on their website that they're doing it. All we require is that you just do the projects that are open. They're like an open source project, and that's what we're working on. These open source projects that, we've got this 3.5 minute, let's call it a 3.5 minute video that we want to produce, and it will be produced. It might not be perfect in some parts of it, but it will be a video produced by and largely from inexperienced students that have had a bloody good go at it.
Well, not just largely, I think almost completely. I mean, it will be just the finishing. It'll probably be my side and the rendering and whatnot. That nicely brings me around to what are the reasons that, we've talked about, the things that have caused all the slowdowns and stuff. But one thing in particular, which is a lot of people have gotten really fed up with visual effects. And as such, you have people like Ariana Grande actually saying out loud, no, this film has all been done on stages. And a lot of it has been done on stages, but there's been huge amounts of green screen all over the place.
I think ILM would argue that they might have had a little hand in some of those scenes looking as good as they did.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. Possibly, yes. A little bit of stuff added to the top and the bottom and the left and the right and all over the front and all around the back. In fact, the artist is the only thing that's real in so many shots. What amazes me, actually, when they got those big rigs and they're flying around, is they have to get rid of all of those rigs and paint the body back in. I mean, it's there's so much stuff that's done, but So
to just wrap that little segment up, the Opendoor Studio, it is a company. It is starting its journey. It is Gary and I and some very talented student support. I think it's very much worth giving a quick shout out to Tane, who's done the concept art for the main character.
Yeah, TJ's been amazing.
TJ's been absolutely amazing at Newcastle University, and will be working with us on the pilot project in the new year as an intern.
Yeah, she's really interested. Keeps on reminding me.
I think she'll be more than an intern, to be fair. I think she'll probably end up taking a bit more of a supervisor role on that one.
I would like to think so. Once we reach a point where there's money coming into the business,
then we can pay them.
Exactly, yeah.
And one of the big things that I want to stress is the way that we've constructed the financial, well, I'll not go into the financials, but the way we've constructed it is so that we can pay interns to come in and be a part of this, because there is a level of student involvement from colleges. Probably the main level is student involvement, but then there is a sub level or a level above that is interns that will work directly with the studio people. So they are grouped in certain ways so that we can afford to pay them an internship, and we hope to be able to take 20, 30, 40 interns at a time to cover the work that we're doing with hundreds and hundreds of college students.
Yes, once we've got hundreds and hundreds of colleges and hundreds.
But we need the hundreds and hundreds of college students to pay the interns. It's a bit of a chicken and egg.
It is, which is why the pilot is so important, because it means that we can get it out, see what does work, what doesn't work. I mean, in all honesty, I think every time I come back to thinking about things that I need to get sorted for it, I find something else that I need to create. And I don't mean like a digital asset or like rigging a character. God, I will say one thing. I've learned how to love rigging in Blender. Absolutely. Yes, that's right. I said it now. The words came out. Basically, any of the modeling...
Maya is no more. Blender is the for.
Well, Blender is there because for anyone who doesn't teach a particular piece of software, they can get the software for this so they can be installed, and it costs nothing.
And it runs on a potato. So, yes... So that's us in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I think on some other news as well, I mean, we know that there's some big changes next year coming for one of our previous guests. I think we've mentioned his name already. So we will look forward to having an interview with him and his new role. That's going to be cool. I had a chat with him today about it.
Good.
And I'll say no more on that.
No.
But you know who you are. He's a poor copy beard of me, but yeah.
No, that's me, surely. With my sad little beard that no one... I've got a sad little beard, everybody.
We're icing the YouTube element for now, I think.
Just so you know. Yeah, we tried...
We've got a face for audio. We know we have.
I've definitely got a face for audio. I think John's got an for audio.
This is what it's like without a beer.
I don't know what it is. No alcohol, I know. It's great. I've got a mug of tea. In fact, let me just go... Yeah, no, that's cold now.
Yeah,
hang on. Do you know what? I'm not proud.
Oh, cold tea. Lovely.
I don't mind it, actually. But, yeah, I mean, what's been the last 12 months like for the games industry, really, when you look at it? I mean, what did we get at the beginning of the year? By the beginning of the year, companies were... Big AAA companies
mass
were
layoffs.
being...
Mass layoffs.
Yeah. Getting rid of people left, right and centre. And most of it is being caused by the cost of living crisis, I think.
Yep.
Very similarly with the games industry. It's funny, isn't it? They are separate industries, but they come under this collective, like, what is it, creative media sort of bracket. And they are fundamentally linked. This, the front end of any games job is very much similar to the front end of any animation job or a lot of VFX work.
Well, I mean, I think over the 2 years between 23 and 24, we lost nearly 25,000 people in the sector.
Wow.
Worldwide. And the bulk of those were in 2024.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was talking to Neil from Escape Technology today, and the signs, the roots are there. If you look at what's happening on the job boards, there's lots of people now needing to spend the investment that's been put into them. There's lots of products needing to be produced. People are ramping up again, and I said this. I think I said this before. I've lived through 3 cycles of layoffs in various sectors, whether they be in animation, games, and VFX or whatever.
Yeah,
and it always seems to come, in sort of a period of around 7 to 8 years. There's always a downturn because of the actual saturation of product, and it's also a time, I think, when the product is due to change. I think we could probably start looking at some linkages, but you think about the products like PlayStation, Xbox, the Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Switch. Are those products now? What's happening in the future with those products? When you look at the number of sales that have gone on for things like Steam, and Steam being predominantly PC based, and also then how many studios were acquired over that period of 8 years by other studios.
Yeah, and also with the games industry, I've noticed when I was working in it, a lot more. That, it was the larger companies were buying out, middle-sized companies, basically in order to absorb the assets and then get rid of the people. And I think a little bit of that was going on as well.
Yeah.
But I've got a stat that I found, which said that more than 14,000 games have been published on Steam this year. 14,000. I mean, that is a massive amount of games. Not everybody can buy all the games. It's not like back in the day when you sort of like you one day you'd be playing Frogger 1 minute and then you're playing Horace Goes Skiing, for about 3 weeks. It's just,
and you're swapping games in the playground
all the time, recording tape to tapes.
Yeah,
all those beautiful things and
pirating. It
wasn't pirating. It was
creating backups,
indefinite loaning. And so there's all this competition, and then of course if you've got all this competition, you've got to make sure your game is worth actually buying. And so the smaller games that are cheaper sometimes are doing more than the bigger games because they're much more expensive. And then you have the joy of Sony's Concord, which basically was just an absolutely pointless exercise. 8 years from inception to completion. I have to say, I've looked at the gameplay and I like it. But it's, at the end of the day, it's like the Orange Box stuff, and it is nothing new. And I think if you've got a game which you really like, and of course, as I said in the past, and also Emma would agree with this.
A game like Rust, because I love Rust.
Well, exactly. But it's not just that. It's also, if you can play a game, can you get DLC for Rust? You can, can't you?
I'm a bit addicted to the DLCs in Rust.
Exactly.
And they have no gaming value at all. It just makes the game look prettier.
But this is the thing, and this is the power this year. It's been like, no, I'm not going to buy another game.
Yeah,
I am just going to get content to add to my Fortnite and add to Sims. I mean, Sims is a great. You don't buy. The main Sims, you don't buy at all. You just get that, and then you buy the DLCs to go on.
I usually spend about £10 a week. Every Thursday there is a new inventory of skins available, and they only make them. The great thing about Rust and the Rust community is that people out there are basically, so inside the game you can get access to pretty much every single model that there is and download it. You can take it into your favorite application, your DCC application, and then you can create new skins for that application. You then upload it. You have to pay a little fee just to get enough credits to put it up onto your store, and then people vote on whether they want that in the game. And if it gets published into the game system, then you get a reward out of it for the number of payments. And there are some skins that started life as £3-4 and are now worth 3,000 or 4,000.
See, that's bonkers, isn't it?
So
isn't that wonderful?
What I've gone to the, yes, I'm addicted to it a bit, but I've also got a lot in my bank now on Steam of skins. And if ever I really need to liquidate that bank account of skins, I can then put them all up for sale and they'll sell on auction.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my lord! So it's not an NFT, but I mean it's the same sort of thing as
kind of like an NFT. It's kind of like an
NFT. It's NFT investing in whiskey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know the process of getting it out of Steam. I don't think you can get it out of Steam. You have to then go through a third party, and it's a bit crypto type stuff.
That's interesting, Dave. So you've made me realise that I really need to.
Gary, we could be on this. We could literally be on this and have our own skin.
Yeah, but it'd be like It's you have the Graphters Podcast logo on a skin.
Absolutely. Well, you could just turn people into a custard cream.
Or a bourbon. Other biscuits are available.
Other biscuits are available, yeah.
Although they're nowhere near as good. Oh, by the way, people, John sent me he sent me a dirty picture this week. He sent me. Let me just get up on my phone because you can't see this, but I'm just going to tell you what it is. I'm going to describe it to you. You'll know why I'm angry.
It's Christmas.
Yeah. I don't care whether it's Christmas or not.
Look, every now and again, you dress something up as a Christmas, a bit more Christmassy.
Yeah. Right, people, are you ready for this? So
yes.
I'm looking at something which is from other supermarkets are available, but this particular supermarket, I'm going to name them and shame them because I think this is disgusting. Sainsbury's, how dare you create a custard cream twist with a gingerbread flavour filling? Custard creams do not have a gingerbread flavour filling. This is disgusting, and I am taking it to my local MP. Honestly, no. But it actually says new. What it should say on it is spew. But there's the calorie intake is exactly the same though still. So I don't know. It's all a lie. It's I think he's done it on AI. To be fair.
No, I did eat them. They were very nice.
No, they weren't. They weren't. All right, they may have been. Anyway, that's not the point. I've reached very much the mince pie stage of my Christmas already. Got there a bit early. Really. So yeah, basically VFX industry, same as the games industry, and it is all about cost of living.
Cost of custard cream.
High inflation and interest rates means it's hard to borrow money to actually make movies. So the small budget film or a very small budget film is normally about £10 million, which is not a small amount of money, but it is for making a movie, and it's kind of, but even that, it's hard to get investment because most mainstream films, you're talking, if it costs £200 million to make the film, it costs £200 million to do the advertising in order to basically rake back the original amount. So essentially you're investing 400 million hoping to make 400 million, and there have been a few films recently which have not even remotely touched the sides of the money that they owe, and that seems to have happened quite a bit.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier on, VFX has become, and I'm literally reading my own note here, VFX has become a dirty word in Hollywood. So there's been this kind of, there's kind of like, that whole thing last year about Barbie. Did you see the making? There were like these clips for the making of Barbie, and they've actually gotten rid of the green screen. They put a screen of an image of what the background was in the desert behind on the green screen, but they'd done it so badly you could see that there had actually been a green screen there. and it was just kind of like they're trying to hide the fact that they're using visual effects, so they're making it a dirty word, and it's not a dirty word. The amount of films like Furiosa, Mad Max film, there were shots in that back in, was it 2020 I think, but there were shots in that were just you could not do without visual effects, and in every film there is something. In fact, I watched Elevation. I don't know whether you've seen the film. It's Anthony Mackie who plays the new Captain America in the film where Harrison Ford is turning into a Red Hulk. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it, the next Marvel film.
I haven't. I'm gonna have to. I'm behind on these, but
I's happy. I's ahead of John.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm invested in Silo at the moment on Apple TV. So
isn't it great?
It really is. The second series is better than the first series by a country mile.
Steven Zahn, who's playing Solo, is, I thought, stunt casting, but actually he is amazing. I have nothing but respect for anyone and anything to do with that show. It is absolutely one of my favourite things.
Oh, and I binged Black Doves as well.
I need to get around to that.
Yeah, Black Doves. Oh, it's worth binging. Very much worth binging. And one of the things I said to Marie on the Black Doves was it feels like a low budget, short run
BBC drama.
Yeah, short run series.
Yeah.
But the production quality in it is phenomenal.
No, I saw an interview with Keira Knightley on the Graham Norton show. Do you watch Graham Norton?
Do I watch Graham Norton? Yes, I do watch. It's institutional.
Yes, it is a bit. Well, he is a national treasure. But here's National Treasure Graham Norton interviews National Treasure Keira Knightley, and but there's this bit where they showed a shot where Ben Whishaw suddenly turns up and saves her life and shoots a guy, and it cuts back and she is covered from head to toe in blood. And I just think it's really nice to see that. Ben Whishaw, actually, he's so deadpan that everything he says sounds like it's a joke. I absolutely love that man. So yeah, I think is there anything in particular? All right, here's the thing. Here's a question for you, and it's a good one. So we're talking about obviously visual effects and 3D and stuff because that's what we do. What's your favourite Christmas film?
Oh, Die Hard.
Damn you!
Aha!
Did you know actually?
And do you know why it's a Christmas film? Because it's a Christmas party.
And he mentions Christmas 18. Well, Christmas is mentioned 18 times during the course of the film.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a Christmas film. I will watch it. I know, even though I hate it, it's not a Christmas film. It's an action film.
One of the things I've seen recently, I saw somebody's done a little edit cut on, I think it was YouTube Shorts, and it was all about Love Actually.
Mm.
So Love Actually, Obviously, you have the protagonist that is Alan Rickman, who is, shall we say, he nearly cheats on his lovely wife.
Oh no, he completely cheats.
Maybe.
He
And
completely
then
cheats.
somebody cuts it with Die Hard and Alan Rickman falling off of the Yokohama Towers. And it's
Really?
like, yes! How the film should have ended.
I was in an office in Chesterfield, and the guy I'm working for, a guy called Mark Lambert, lovely guy, is actually wearing a Christmas jumper, and it's the Nakatomi building.
Yeah, I was going to buy that one. I
know. I've got to say, give him his juice. Very, very good choice. Yeah, no, it's so. But apart from Die Hard, favourite Christmas film?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marie plays that on the 1st of December every single year. We actually have the VHS and the DVD versions, but of course now it is on whatever streaming channel it's on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it, and I think also she does go through this little
Merry Christmas Emporium. Sorry.
Yeah, she does. She does go through a few. There's one also with is it The Angel Calls, or it's got the famous line at the end of it. Every time a bell rings, an angel. Is that
that's It's a Wonderful Life?
Wonderful Life.
Yes,
Right. There's another one then as well with the angel that comes down and saves the vicar who's building a cathedral, and he's actually lost touch with his family and his wife and everything.
It's not Miracle on 34th Street, is it?
No. I will. I ought to just go through our.
There are people screaming at us right now with what
going. We'll tell you what it is. Can you imagine if we did this live? I mean, come on, we'd be.
If you know the answer, please send us a response to thegraphters podcast at gmail.com. Anything to keep our account alive.
Please, yeah. It has been a little bit shaky.
I've been sending myself emails to other accounts just to keep it going. Somebody send us an email. Come on. Thegrafterspodcast at gmail.com. It's not hard. It's grafter with a PH. You can do it. Somebody, I'd like a Christmas message. Or if not a Christmas message, I'd like just, dear Gertrude Perkins, no thank you, go away. To misquote Blackadder. I gotta say, for me, Christmas films, they've always been, I have to watch a version of A Christmas Carol. Otherwise, it's not Christmas. Have to. But it's really interesting because, I'm leaning heavily now to the Jim Carrey 3D one. The one that was done by Robert Zemeckis.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
I really like that one. I think
the production quality on that was pretty good for its time.
It was. I mean, it's like, I cannot. And I've watched it. I remember when it came out, I was like, this is quite good. I can't sit there and watch, what's it called? The one with the train.
Oh, with the ticket and Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Polar Express.
My day. Polar Express. I cannot watch Polar Express. I just.
It was before its time.
It was a good idea. It was basically, it's the guy who wrote the Polar Express also wrote Jumanji, and is it Zarathustra?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't remake the Polar Express.
Well, DreamWorks, I can't believe what they've done. They've decided to make a live action version of How to Train Your Dragon.
I know.
It's like they've seen what Disney has done and said, let's do that as well.
But it looks
without
amazing.
Even thinking whether it's a good idea.
But it looks amazing, and they've got the right actors in to do it.
Oh, I know.
Because they've got Gerard Butler in to do the acting. Yeah, the dad, which makes it the right choice.
I agree. But
and the dragon looks like the dragon.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The dragon was always 3D in the first place, and you can't do it not 3D.
All they've done is replace the human people with real human people.
Well, what they've also done is they've improved the texture mapping on the dragons.
Yes, they have. They're also doing a live action version of Moana, aren't they?
Yes, that's mostly done, I think.
Mostly done, yeah. I saw that with The Rock.
And the Lilo and Stitch comes out very soon, which I actually do want to see.
Yeah. Well, Marie, she will tell you. She tells this to everyone because she takes great mirth in telling this. But one Christmas day, I think it was probably the year after my dad had passed away. I was feeling a little bit blue, and it was Christmas Day morning, and I just said, I'm going to go and sit in the room and watch Frozen 2. and proceeded to just sing my head off at all of the songs in there. And I think I back to back them, Frozen and Frozen 2. And now she thinks that that's hilarious. And obviously, I have to book in on a Christmas morning. I'm going to be watching one of the Frozens. I have to say I love a good sing along, and I have to say that I think Frozen has a great range of songs in there to really belt out when you feel it, when you're having your eggnog.
It's interesting because it's every time I hear Let It Go, I have the same emotional response as I do when I hear Defying Gravity from Wicked.
Right.
Which is I start to cry.
Oh.
And there's a few things that draw me to tears. My bank account for one. Or yes, maybe. No, I mean, music can make me cry very easily. This is getting very, very soppy. But no, I think at Christmas I'm always a bit more emotional anyway. And I miss family. Yeah. You always miss family at Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a much more extended family, I think, now, with people like yourself.
Oh.
And no, seriously, I'm not just saying that because we're recording this.
Clip it.
No. Yeah, actually, clip it. Gary likes his friend. No, but it is. It's like how you extend your family and you get friends. We've got friends over this evening. I've got jobs to do tonight, and it means that as I've gotten older, friendships have become more important to me, and I think that's and you start to realise the good ones from the bad ones.
Yeah,
there aren't. I'm very lucky. I don't think I've had any bad ones in years. So, but I'm better at picking friends, I think, is what it is.
Yeah. Also, the pool is a lot slimmer.
Well, no, but the thing is, I've met more people. I've realised how you get to a point where you just have, I can't have any more friends. I can meet a lot more people, but then occasionally you meet someone who's just got that quality.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's it. They're a friend. I don't want to ever lose this friendship.
Well, we will.
But Christmas is a kind of a time when that's. I mean, it's everybody. I think Christmas parties are a big thing. Obviously, and and if they're smaller firms, Christmas parties are better. They bring people together. They can talk more. They can be together. Even in a big firm, whether it's like a big games firm or whether it's a big animation company, you cannot underestimate the power of a Christmas party.
Yeah,
and I think it's very important that for everybody, things have been rubbish this year, but I've seen. I don't think we're at the bottom, really, but I think things are just starting to rise up. I get so many through Glassdoor and all these other firms and Juno. I'm getting so many things saying, looking for a senior, blah blah blah. And the fact, that there are jobs appearing, and at some point it's going to be, we've got all our seniors now. Let's
get the juniors in.
Let's get the teams going, and because of the future.
Yeah, and Opendoor will be giving them the work experience. So that's what we're here.
Well, absolutely.
And you're creative director for Opendoor Studios, aren't you? And
I'm
the
senior technical person.
Yeah.
Basically. If John has been the mouthpiece of this,
I don't know what you mean.
And I've been doing and I'm still a noisy beggar, but I've been doing all the stuff and saying, "What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I'll build this. What do you think? I'll rig this. What do you think?"
I've been very well behaved. I haven't really got stuck into any of the art side of stuff, much as I wanted to. And I think I did at one point during the summer have a bit of a play around with some of the stuff that I was doing with the work experience guys on the Graphters Podcast channel. But I've learnt through my time at different companies that there is a time when you do get your sleeves rolled up and you jump in, which is what I'm doing at the moment with British Taekwondo. And just on the Christmas party thing, actually, I think it's really important. I've joined this company. And I didn't really know many people at British Taekwondo, which is very strange because obviously I do Taekwondo, but I didn't know many people that worked for the company that's British Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And every single person that I've met that works there, it goes so far out and above and beyond their roles to make sure that every single individual member gets the best service that they can possibly get. And it's just worth me acknowledging that, I think, publicly on a channel, because it's just a small company. It's a very small company, less than 10 people, and they're doing the job of a 20,000 people database, keeping those members valid, insured, and safe, and allowing them to do taekwondo the way that they want to do taekwondo in a safe manner to promote the sport and the martial art.
Yeah.
So it's the Christmas party that we had. We played darts in Manchester, which was hilarious. I thought I was good at it, and I'm not. I really am not.
Who do you think you are, Ted Lasso?
Yeah, literally. And the Ted Lasso things kept coming up. But guess who was the only person that hit a bullseye when I shouldn't? Bullseye? Me.
Were. Yeah, because you went
That's all I was aiming for was the bullseye. And just very quickly, the film I was trying to visualise is The Bishop's Wife. That's the film that is a Christmassy film, and if you want to go and see one, so my wife's top 10, which is pretty much my top 10, well, my wife's top 3, I should say, is It's a Wonderful Life, The Bishop's Wife, and Holiday Inn.
Oh, Holiday Inn.
If you've never seen that.
Otherwise known as White Christmas.
Otherwise known as White Christmas.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah.
I've got to stop, otherwise I can't have even 30 seconds. I'm gonna, if I can, before we just leave, I want to, because obviously we haven't got a guest.
We're on time as well. We've done pretty well.
I know we are. We're doing well. But I just want to say, if I may, that it's about time. I'm going to now give John a chance to see if he can get the punchline to a bunch of Christmas jokes.
Oh, here we go. This is like a quick fire round.
It is for you.
All right.
Why did the elf go to the podiatrist?
I don't know. Why did the elf go to podiatrist?
Because he had mistletoe.
That's a good one.
It's better, right? Okay. Why did Santa ban fizzy drinks from his workshop?
Santa fizzy drinks workshop. Don't know.
Because they were bad for his elf.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to keep on going. I've got a few more here. How much did Santa's sleigh cost?
How much did Santa's sleigh cost?
Yes.
I don't know.
Nothing. It was on the house.
These are better than the ones we normally get in Christmas crackers.
This is true, but I think
might be the delivery.
Possibly, but I doubt it. I say. What is the art of timing?
I don't know. What is the art of timing?
Getting the joke right. Sorry. Why are Christmas trees so bad at sewing?
Because they're all full of needles.
You're almost there. Because they keep dropping their needles.
Oh.
Yes. I know you can do this. Come on. Right, okay. What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?
A carrot sucking... No.
No. You get frostbite.
Oh, damn.
Okay. What is the best Christmas present?
An open one.
Oh, well, yes. Not if it's already been opened. Especially if it's food. I mean, come on.
No, if it's whiskey, then it's brilliant.
Oh, you're not wrong. Got to buy some more, just run out. It's a broken drum because you just can't beat it.
Oh.
What do snowmen like to do at the weekend?
Chill out.
Yes!
Yes! We got one in the end.
One. Fantastic. Right, okay. 3 more and then I'm done. You ready?
Okay.
How do snowmen travel around?
In a snowmobile.
No, by icicle.
Oh, bicycle.
Okay, here's one. You might get this one. I've got faith in you for this one.
I'm really struggling.
What do you call a cow that lives in an igloo?
A milkshake?
No.
An ice cream?
No. Oh, well, it could have been. Yeah, it could be an ice cream. Yeah. No, an Eskimo.
An Eskimo. Very good. Very good.
And obviously, I'm hoping that people have been shouting these out in their car. What is an elf's... The last one. What is an elf's favourite kind of music?
An elf's favourite kind of music?
Yeah.
Christmas carols?
No, it's a joke. It's meant to be funny. Christmas carols, Mr. Duppy. Rap music.
Oh, dear gosh. Oh, well, if that's one way to end 2024, I don't know what is.
Smashing jokes, Gromit.
Well, we just need to wrap this up now.
Yes, we do. Like all good presents, we need to wrap this up.
We do
indeed. So, as I say, 2024, it's not been my favourite, but
no,
it hasn't been my worst.
I'd also say that 2024 has been almost a year of growing up, I think, certainly for us. It's very strange. When we created that podcast Discord server,
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, me too. And we got near to 100, I think 300 people at one point, which was brilliant. I mean, it sort of became this. Oh, we got to get everybody in and everything else. But then I think that we detracted away from what we do, which is this. Just talking mostly rubbish, but in a very enjoyable way. And
it's not rubbish. How dare
I mean,
you?
I would like to say this year, obviously, leaving Escape was a really big downer for me because I met a lot of great people outside of Escape, and we have, I think it's fair to say that we have kept some of those relationships going with people like James from Lenovo, which is great. And when he came over to Manchester and he was doing a gig with Lenovo and he was in the Etihad next door to where I work, I was like, I'm coming over to see you. And there's a great selfie online, if you saw it, of me just being really happy to see the man.
Yes.
And also, our work with Lucid Link.
We can only thank Nick from Lucid Link. He's been wonderful.
Yes. And we're excited for how that's going to be. Is exciting. And, it pushes that concept that I said, which is, education needs to get out of just sticking things on hard drives and pen drives and things and start collaborating in the cloud. So,
well, that is most definitely the way forward. The fact that I can send folders to people and they can just read them off their desktop, they can just read them off their desktop. And
we've got version control. We've got all
and also it means that I can create user accounts, and then as soon as the work is done at the end of the night, I can shut those accounts down, which I can then restart again the following thing. So it's not like they can log in from home.
Yep.
It just means that we'll get it a proper, this is a working experience. This is not just for you to basically go off and do one on it, and have I'm going to reanimate this thing 75,000 times. No, that's not how you do it in the world.
No,
you are going to do it like a proper work experience, and that's just brilliant. And
and we'll be creating some documentation on that, and I'll probably have a few chats with Lucid Link and their team on how they've helped us, to bring this to life.
Yeah.
So we're really thankful of their support, and there'll be a bigger series on that
as
well. So it's been a like I say, I think a year of growing up where I think we've become, there's been great people I think that have gone before that have done stuff, and now it's our turn to have a go at it, and it'll either be great or it won't, but we're going to have a go at it, and that's the thing.
I have high hopes. I have high hopes to make, and I also believe I have a belief that by the end of 2025, this time next year, my aspirations are that we will see an upturn in work across the board.
Yeah.
This last 12-18 months has been a great leveler.
Yeah.
It's been painful, but I think sometimes, as you said, sometimes you need to have this space in order to sort things out a bit.
And I'm definitely looking forward to you and me going on a road trip to Stuttgart.
Yeah, absolutely. There's what is it? There was.
I think we'll probably do quite a few, specials on the podcast.
Getting out and about.
Get it out and about for FMX.
Yeah.
I want to try and be more supportive of their outreach to the education community over here in the UK, and I think that's something that we'll be working with the FMX guys with as well.
Yeah.
So there's tons of good stuff. I mean, there are tons of good stuff. So Gary, I think we just need to wrap up.
Yes, I think
it's cold because it's cold outside.
It's cold. Oh, I see me. Oh, very clever. Yes, there was me about to go into It's Cold Outside.
Yeah.
You can't sing that. That song's not allowed on the radio anymore or something, is it?
I don't know. I don't think so. No.
I think it's banned. Right. Anyway, I'll shut up.
Okay.
I've been talking far too much, John, and you've been very quiet. You've hardly said a word.
I think we've done this. I think we ought to do an analysis of this and see who's talked the most. Well, you'll find out when you download those tracks, won't you?
Well, I will, because I'll just be cutting you up, but I'll just keep cutting you out. Simple as that.
Oh, the power! I got the power.
The power of the editor. It's how Greg Wallace survived all these years. The power of the editor. Anyway.
Hot sausage roll. Anyone?
No thanks. No thanks, John. No thanks, Greg. Greg, that's fine. Go away. Thank you. Yeah. Right, anyway. And on this fortuitous festive season, I think it would be very nice to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And I do hope that the editor puts a bit of Jingle Bellsy music type stuff on just at the end and a few ho-ho-hos.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Anyway, it's on that note, it's a good night from me.
Oh, and it's definitely good night from him.
Yeah, okay. See you all in the new year, guys. Take care. Bye.
Goodbye.
About you.
This work is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 international license. Any opinions stated during the course of this podcast belong purely to myself and to John and are based at the time that we record this. The theme music is My Everything by DJ Quads. If you like that, and I'm sure you probably did, there is a lot more of his great stuff which you can find at soundcloud.com/DJ Quads, or his music is also promoted by www.free-stock-music.com.